Fakes left, now taken off. Gonna run for it. Got it! There he goes! The 6 or the 10 to 5. Oh, the play of the year in the NFL.
Welcome back, everyone. This is episode 21 of the Buds Mafia podcast. We have a great episode in store. We have a Edmonton fan coming on. You may know him, Forehead King, Emerson Chamber. His lighting would likely be better. I made sure that if he's got to come back on, his lighting has to be better. We're going to be talking about, say like a preview, what happened in the conference finals, as well as some off-the-field shenanigans in the NFL of Jackson's favorite player, but we'll dive into that later. But yeah, Jackson, we played some golf yesterday, which was awesome, but how was the rest of your weekend, and how you recovered from that L that you took yesterday?
Okay, it wasn't just me. It was Nick, too.
Yeah, but
no.
he's like a 40 handicap, so really it was on you.
No, I have not. It made me mad. I was very mad. For real.
I was pissed too. You gave a fucking 40 handicapper a 5-foot putt and just made him pick it up. But
all right, respectfully as well, though, you also gave yourself putts yesterday.
Yeah, because they didn't matter.
Because
they didn't matter. Whenever Owen was in, I just picked it up. We're not playing stroke play, so I'll pick my fucking putt. I'm not wasting a putt. Yeah, I'm clearly in the right. Oh. All right. Have you recovered yet, though? That was kind of the main question. That's all right.
Respectfully, playing stroke play like that is tough, especially when everyone gets a pop on certain holes, and then it's just me playing straight up because I'm not I'm good enough, but I'm not great. So I kind of had to play amazing, and I played pretty good on the front 9, and then the back 9 just kind of fell apart. I was like, it also didn't help. Like Nick was, to be honest, it all kind of fell apart on 9 on the par 3 when I had to back off on my tee shot, and then all I heard as I was about to hit the ball was it's going in the water. It's like, oh fuck. Immediately I was like, all right, sweet, yeah, it's definitely gonna go in the water.
Yeah,
and I could have backed off again, but I already backed off once.
The turfs were fine.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Also, that Owen kept hyping up my game, which I appreciated it, and I knew he would be.
With you.
I think he was being genuine a little bit.
He was, yeah.
And I was sitting there, and I was like, "Fuck, I'm not that good. Shut the fuck up." But no, it's tough, especially doing it in that format where we play stroke play, and I knew it was gonna be tough to beat you guys because I knew that Owen could hit the ball well, and you were gonna at least get in. And on the holes that you popped, it's gonna be so tough. It's like there's no way. I knew on those holes, those were an automatic loss, and that was 4 holes, and we ended up losing by 4 holes, which is so tough. So it's on the holes that you popped, I knew it was gonna be tough, but.
I think Owen played better than me. I think I stroke play. I think I beat him by 2, but my game is not where it needs to be. When I used to work at a golf course, I used to be a lot better. My handicap now is getting close to 18. It's just not good. And I even talked to Emerson at the bar yesterday after the round. He said, honestly, I think I shot 91, which is, for the beginning of this round, I'm okay with it. But obviously, I used to be more of an 80s player. But he said, he literally said, he's like, all jokes aside, in all seriousness, your game has gotten worse, if I'm being honest. I'm like, yeah, I know it has. I know it has. And he's aware of it, but he's being really nice about it. Honestly, he's also if you're playing worse, but also you're still shooting 90, that's a good spot. And he's just he's got to figure out some of these swings. I'm like Biz. My swing is just getting shorter and shorter. And it's just, I have no contact with it.
You got to go to a coach or get a lesson. Playing at this point, I used to do the exact same thing as you. I didn't have a slice near as bad as you, but I would set up getting it. I would set up far to the left because I knew it would come back into the middle of the fairway.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I got to a point where I was like, okay, it works at the courses I play at, but when I'm getting older now and I'm playing at different courses, I kind of need to fix it. But no, my problem yesterday, and I think just my problem at all, was I just got into my own head immediately. As soon as when we were up, I thought it was really easy. And I wasn't really thinking about much. And I was coaching Nick through literally every shot, and it was super easy. And then as soon as I got in my own head, I kind of just left Nick to be by himself, which is tough but at the same time, I was focusing so much on my game that it's okay, I don't really have the time.
It didn't help that your partner may have had the worst putting display I have ever seen in my entire life.
I also I was not helpful. He would hit a putt and I'd be like, okay.
Dude, me and Owen were crying at that because he'd be like, "Hey man, like it's really fast downhill, so don't give it to it." He would literally poke it with his finger, and you're like, "Okay, so we lost." Like it was just like,
I'd be like, okay,
it was so
okay,
funny.
cool.
It was
But
like I don't think he really like honestly getting to the green. He was actually pretty. It was probably the best he's done getting
he's
to the green.
best ball
It
striking
was
he's ever had.
for his drives. Like he hasn't hit like he's hitting these like low little stingers. Like he's not really getting a lot of height, and he's playing good. But yeah, we'll get back out there. I'm gonna hit the range this week. I gotta get dialed here.
Yeah. I want to play straight up again against you. And
yeah,
I think we should put it on the Instagram because like
yeah, we will.
It's tough. It's tough.
I gotta get my game going.
You're kind of my kryptonite. I don't know what it is. It's just whenever I played my dad and my brother last week. A few weeks ago, shot 77. Played a few days after that, shot 82, and then yesterday, like I didn't even remember what my score was. I just gave up. I probably shot like low 90s.
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely do that soon. The weather, I think next week's actually starting to get like 25 every day. So this has been the worst. It's June 1st today. It's gonna get warmer. This is the worst May I think in like Southern Ontario history. I think they said it's the coldest May since 1967, which is fucking hilarious.
I need to stop hearing that year.
Yeah, I know. I've heard it. When my mom reminds me of the year like every day. But all right. This guy's been waiting. We told him 4:00. It's almost 4:30 now. I'm gonna tell him to hop on. Emerson, he came on last time. We're gonna break down the conference finals. We'll break down the Stanley Cup. We'll break down some other stuff. But he's gonna come on and kind of give us the ins and outs of what's going on, some players he should look out for, and kind of his predictions for the Stanley Cup final as a rematch. Edmonton versus Florida. I would say 90% of hockey fans are cheering for Edmonton. Even American, I feel like, are cheering for Edmonton. I do think McDavid is such a well-respected player. I will bring up on the pod and tell Emerson that apparently McDavid was seen talking to the trainers today and left practice early. So he's definitely battling something. I mean, I couldn't tell during the Dallas series, but
a lot of hockey in the last 2 years.
Yeah, like just with the Four Nations
same with
finals,
Florida too, but it's a lot of hockey.
Yeah, but he's coming on in a sec here. But yeah, I mean, I'm very excited. I am like full on. Like when I was watching the last few Oilers games, I was kind of anxious and cheering like I was in the Leaf games. Honestly, like I was fully invested. I want Edmonton to win so badly. They deserve it. McDavid deserves it. But we'll give some props to Florida too. I have a whole thing I want to bring about Florida and everything. I'm not going to do that with Emerson on. We're going to hype up the Oilers. And when this drops, which is cool, we drop Wednesday mornings. That'll be the eve of Game 1 in Berta. So hopefully Emerson can fire us up. He's just grabbing some water, hydrate that throat.
I told him to make sure his ringer's off. I asked him yesterday when we were at the golf course. I was like, "Did you get a microphone?" He was like, "I didn't know I was supposed to." I was like, "No, I'm just kidding, but please make sure your phone ringer's off."
I had a little nap earlier, and he FaceTimed me. He's like, "Is this lighting okay?" And I was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "It's better." Like before, we couldn't even see his face. I said, honestly, visual. Just make sure to close the blinds. Just like no sunlight. And the mic is whatever. We've had definitely issues in the past. I'm sure people have noticed that sometimes my mic cuts out and halfway through the pod, it sounds like I'm talking over the phone. So it happens. Jackson's more committed to the technology brand. Everyone roasts my mic in the comments. Like, sorry.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not even committed to it. My fiance bought this for me.
Yeah,
so.
it is just, like mine needs to step up better, I guess. But yeah, I found this in my fucking like shed or my garage, and I was like, hey, it's free, fucking use it. I bought the camera. The camera is big, but this mic, yeah. But everyone, yeah, in the comments says like your podcast equipment needs to be better. I'm like, are you fucking buying it? Like, fuck off.
I was gonna say, at the end of the day, I was literally thinking about this today. If we're ever to get big enough, like sure, but at this point, we both work fucking jobs. 9 times out of 10, when we record on Sundays after I'm done afternoons, I am beat. This is the first podcast where I feel pretty good.
I don't feel I drank quite a bit yesterday. It was a long day, and I got home at like noon. I'm like, I could still have a few, and I just put my headphones in, listened to some music, had some beers, and played PGA, and just had a time. So if I come home with a good time, I don't know if I know you're not a video games guy. I love playing PGA. It's
I was gonna say, you wanted to bring that up the last time. No, I'm not a video games guy.
I love playing PGA, dude. It's so much fun, especially late at night, having a beer when you get home before bed. It's unbelievable. My sister also got me a McFlurry, and she said, I got you a treat in the freezer. Went up to the freezer, nice little score McFlurry in there. So house that. Record time, house that. But yeah.
I would, no. I'd rather do a lot of things. Like, I like playing video games, but I'd rather do a lot of things than play video games.
No, for sure. Let's score this. We're just waiting for Emerson here. Scheffler's up by 1 in a Memorial. Jackson did pick Scheffler.
I was actually thinking quickly. I was thinking certain tournaments, especially if like they're elevated events or something, I think we should make like Scheffler, if he's going to continue to play at this rate, make him a not usable pick. And just like,
he's playing at a crazy pace right now.
He's playing at an unbelievable clip. Like
he it's a tough course. Like I haven't watched too much. I've seen highlights, and he beat Bogey Freed yesterday. Like it's insane.
It's playing today 2 shots easier too. I was watching the preamble to it and playing about 2 shots easier. But like the guys are still spraying the ball. Even Scotty almost put it on the water on 2. I don't know. I love this tournament. I really do.
It's good. And yeah, Nick Taylor's still up there. He's a few back. Like
boys?
You're not, if you're 3 to, here he is.
Yeah, hey.
The man, the myth,
the lighting.
The Oilers, the lighting couldn't be better.
Lighting's fantastic.
Well, Emerson, thanks for coming on again. We had to bring you on for the rematch that's coming Wednesday. This podcast will drop Wednesday morning, so the eve of Game 1. What are your thoughts? How are you feeling right now after beating 2 very experienced, very skilled teams in 5 games in Vegas and Dallas?
I don't know. Since Game 2, I don't think they've played a full bad game.
There he is.
But I don't think Florida has either, besides like a couple against Toronto. So we'll see.
Yeah. So I don't know if you saw Ryan Rasog's tweet from this morning. Apparently McDavid was seen talking to the trainers and left practice early. Does that make you a little nervous about the health of your best player?
I just got a notification saying it's not really anything more, just like everyone's sore. Like everyone's a bit sore at this time of year. You don't play this much.
Who's not? Yeah.
That's what we were saying.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people are on Twitter because like I think a big reason why they lost last year was I think Leon was battling with a bad wrist, bad ribs, and everything. And I think he had 0 goals, 3 assists in the 7 games. And Leon looks healthy. He's playing great. Like he has to be I won't say he's the X factor because he's obviously one of the best players in the world. But having him healthy compared to last year is huge for your team.
Kane played, I want to say Game 2, and then he was done. But he was useless. Dry wasn't. I don't want to say completely useless, but he definitely wasn't what he's playing like right now. So I think they've just handled the playoffs a lot better. I don't know. Yeah,
I think so too.
He felt fine.
Connor Brown back to you, I'm pretty sure.
You got to be out a week or something with that rule. I don't know. So we'll see what.
Yeah.
If you had to give kind of your like going into Game 1, what do you think the most important aspect would be? Like, what do you think it is? It just like Draisaitl,
yeah, I think probably that'll
immediately to start the series, or what?
The nerves. Those are gonna have to be the 2 guys that probably step up and do. I don't think we're gonna get like a Connor Brown legacy game in Game 1. We'll wait till Game 5 to get one of those. But yeah, no, I would say that's probably the biggest thing. And Stu Skinner. If Stu's like letting in everything, we're done. But if he keeps playing like he has, or even just as long as he's over 900, we can win hockey games. So those are probably the 2 most important things that need to be going Game 1.
Yeah, it's crazy. Ever since Game 3 in Edmonton against the LA Kings, when they made that crazy game comeback with Evan Bouchard, our friend Owen's favorite player, the team has just been unstoppable. Like in the games they lose, they were the better team, and they just kind of let one slip away. Like the one game in Vegas with like 0.4 seconds left, the game in Dallas, Game 1, kind of like the stupid penalties. Like they've dominated every single game
that's why it's
since
it's
Game
hard
3
not to feel
comeback in LA.
going to the finals. I do like some of the history that supports like a guy like McDavid coming back and winning his 2nd cup, like Gretzky and Crosby did. But
touching the trophy the 2nd time, and that's when they won it. Like both times, Gretzky and Crosby, their first one, it was the same team. Like it was Gretzky, the Islanders, Crosby, the Red Wings. They didn't touch the trophy. Second time they replayed that team the next following year, they touched the trophy
Yeah,
and won, and
they
now it's
also,
setting up the
I think
exact same
Gretzky
thing
scored his
with
third
Jesus
career
himself.
NHL game. And Crosby scored his third career NHL game, which same with McDavid. So I like how that lines up a bit. But yeah, like you're right. Like last year, I think it was. I saw a tweet. It was last year was magical. This year's surgical. I like that. Yeah, that's kind of hype.
That's nice. I
Yeah,
like
you
that
do.
too.
So I think
I
that's
like
kind of
that a
accurate.
lot.
Though.
Yeah,
Like,
you do.
They hadn't been there before. Where this year, it's like they know
So
what it
what's
takes, and
yeah,
they also played
yeah,
they're gonna play 3 of the
yeah,
exact same teams they played last year's playoffs.
yeah. So that's what I was gonna ask you. Like, what went wrong last year, especially the first 3 games, and why are you confident like that won't happen again this year?
So to
Why
be
do you think the
fair, like
experience they have
respect
will
to
prove that?
Florida, I can't say for sure they're not gonna just come into our building and stomp us game 1, and it's gonna be a different series than I think. But I do think last year, like Florida getting back to the finals, not winning it the year before, you have that desperation to do it, and the Oilers are kind of in a just happy to be there spot. And then you kind of figure out when you're down 2-0, like we got to try to win this series. So I don't expect them to be in a hole like they were last year. I mean, it can't be in a worse hole, but yeah, like you can't start off worse than
Worst
that.
hole's
I
getting
think it's going to be
swept.
really important to probably take both games in Edmonton because I think Florida could just do the exact same thing like they did to the Leafs. Sorry, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
no, hey,
No,
that's
no,
what
it's fair.
happens.
It's fair.
That's
We're
what
not in the
happens.
dance, brother. We're
That's
not in
what
the
happens.
dance.
We're full on. We're loyal to the Oil
So
right now.
say Edmonton takes games 1 and 2 in Alberta.
no,
What's
I'd like
kind
to
of
win
like?
the
Would you
next
want
two
to
as well.
split the games on the road, or you think they can? Or you think it's 2-2
No,
going
I don't
into
need
game
this
5?
to
Yeah,
go on too
obviously.
long.
Just make it
Again, I'll be
easy. Just
pumped
make
if
it
they can
easy.
go and win the first 2 games, but
So I kind of want to bring.
I'm gonna be nervous until they actually do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, for our lock, we do a lock of the weeks every weekend, even though it's not really a lock of the week because my
It's
record's
actually
like
faded.
3-18.
Oh yeah, we're
So it's
gonna
not
change the
really a
name.
lock of the week. But my lock of the,
Yeah,
it's
it's horrible.
my lock of the week is it's usually I do a parlay, but for this one I just hammered the Oilers money line. They're like at a -135. That's my lock. No, it is game one.
Just
Just
for
game
game
one.
one.
Just game one. Just game one. Just game one.
He's down bad.
That's what I think.
I like the crowd is going to be ridiculous. McDavid's going to be firing. I think this is crazy. I definitely think I have Oilers in 6, but I do think game 1 is because of the intensity and just the fired up that Edmonton has. I do think it can be like a stomping. You see like kind of like the intensity, but that's not going to redo the whole series, obviously. But I can just see the intensity. Florida's really good at bouncing back, but I can see game 1 just being a stomping.
Yeah, like I gotta imagine
the intensity, the
it's
atmosphere,
so
of the
hard
crowd.
to go into another building for game 1 of the finals. Like you're so excited to play in front of your fans. So I do think they'll come out firing, but yeah, you're right. Like they could win 6-0, then lose the next game 2-1, and it really doesn't matter. You like gave Florida the split, and then they come back home with home ice.
Yeah. We were talking about it last night. Like Florida's probably one of the best teams I've seen make adjustments and know how. Like they figure out what a team's doing so quick. And Paul Maurice is one of the best coaches in the league. Like again, like I said, even if Edmonton wins game 1 6-0, which I think they can, but like the game 2, you'll see it like in the Toronto series, like game 1 and 2. Like Toronto looked a million times better. Florida looked slow. Then all of a sudden, games 3 and 4, Florida just looked like a completely different team.
Yeah,
So they can figure out adjustments. That's why game 1 is
the fact
massive.
that they can run 4 lines, they just wear you down.
Yeah, but Florida's battling injuries too. Like I know Lundell and Lustrainen are battling, but I mean, who's not battling injuries, obviously? But I know that third line's beat up. Reinhardt's beat up. Mikola's beat up. Even though again, it doesn't really show it. Tkachuk must still be beat up because to me, I'm shocked at this player at 100 points. He's looks so relevant. I mean, he has so many like kind of between the whistle plays that are valuable, kind of his dirtiness and chippiness. But one-on-one, I'm not worried about that guy doing anything.
Just by
like,
being
he
a
has
prick.
done nothing.
But
But you've seen it this whole playoffs. I don't care how many points he has. Like you'll see it.
Well, yeah, when you have like I don't know a third line,
but it's worked. It's worked.
Everyone's firing. It really doesn't matter if one guy. As long as someone's contributing in a way, you take it.
Yeah. And I think you said the answer last night, but maybe just reset it. Like, we were watching the Knicks Pacers last night, and I think last year they introduced the Western Conference Finals like MVP, Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Who would you say for the Oilers is your Western Conference MVP?
Wait,
if they were to do it this
year? The finals, Western Finals is already over, right? So technically you'd be able to pick. I would say new. You see for the whole. Do they do it for just the series, or do they do it for the whole playoff? Yeah, it's just the West, right? And then the Conn Smythe would be for the playoff. I'm pretty sure
it's just the series.
Right?
Is it just a series?
Then it has to be Nuge. I mean,
I'm pretty sure it's just a series. Yeah,
Nuge or Stu, I think, would be the two obvious choices. But I would go Nuge. He was so good, and he's an Oiler favorite. So when he's firing, it's like the whole team loves
really
it.
Good. Yeah. I want to bring up some of the things that our stupid friend Owen was mentioning last night. He's a Leafs fans like us, and most of his takes, he's pretty, as Leafs fans go, I feel like we are fairly reasonable Leaf fans. We understand we're losers and we've accomplished nothing in life, but he has this hatred towards Evan. I was just telling Jackson before this last night. You said my game's getting worse and worse, but I appreciate the honesty.
I told him right as we started, I was like, all right, you need to take a lesson and get rid of the slice. The slice needs to go.
Trust me, it'll never go. Yeah. But yeah, Owen has this hatred towards Evan Bouchard, and I understand he's not the best defensive defenseman in the NHL. He's definitely getting better. You can't say he's the worst in the NHL right now, but dude, I know points aren't everything, but at some point, being the fourth highest point per game defenseman in the playoffs history, it's got to mean something. And the fact that, so his take is, and he will stand by us to the day he dies, he says he would rather a prime Matt Dumba than Evan Bouchard, which I think is ridiculous. I don't think he's ever seen Matt Dumba fucking play. I think he's just saying that to piss us off. He's played, and prime Matt Dumba played for the Wild. No way Owen was staying up at fucking 10 p.m. on a Wednesday night to watch the Minnesota Wild. There's no fucking chance. And trust me, Matt Dumba was a dog. He was a heck of a defenseman. I think his peak, he's maybe a 35-point defenseman. But we're talking about Evan Bouchard. Again, I think he's third or fourth point per game all time in the playoffs. I think he's right around 20 points these playoffs again. You can say all you want about his defense, but those numbers are ridiculous. Again, Game 3 in LA, yeah. Game 3 against LA, yeah. It's crazy. He even said no, he's on Dallas in a scratched player. That's all you need to fucking know. It's crazy. It's crazy, and yeah. I see it says you're not being recorded. Yeah, it's refresh and you'll come back. Yeah. Oh, couple technical difficulties. That's the first time here on Buds Mafia podcast. I know I stuttered a little bit there. But yeah, dude, Owen's hot takes last night were just getting me so pissed off. And I'll bring it up again when Emerson comes back on, but he also said that I love Chris Tanev. I think he's an incredible value defenseman, very underrated. He's not better than Evan Bouchard. I don't care what people say. I love Chris Tanev.
Can you guys see me again?
Yeah, you're back.
But I want to. I saw the story today. It was about Petrovic, who's just a terrible defenseman now.
He's horrible.
But they get eliminated, and then he gets sent to Texas to go compete in the West Final in the AHL.
That's a tough look.
That's a tough look.
And he's not even a young guy. That's weird. He's not even young. He's
I
30.
want to say he's mid-30s.
Yeah.
He didn't play in the NHL last year. No. I just think that's so weird. Imagine getting asked, hey, I know your season's done, but actually it's not. You're going down to Texas.
Psych.
You're going to play.
You thought you were going to the Cancun. Have fun in the AHL.
If it was some 20-year-old, it's okay, get him some extra games.
Usually with the young guys, 100%. And I was just saying this, Jackson, before you hopped on, I love Chris Tanev. I think he's incredibly underrated defenseman, one of the best defensive defensemen in the NHL. Very underrated, but he's not better than Evan Bouchard. I don't care what people say. And you can say the McDavid effect all you want. Put Riley, put Tanev, put some of these defensemen with McDavid. They're not putting up 80, 90 points. A lot of the points, people forget a lot of Bouchard's points is Draisaitl feeding him just an absolute one-timer from the point. Oh yeah, was that all McDavid and Draisaitl giving him that one-timer pass? He's shooting 105 miles per hour, top corner in the playoffs. Eat my ass. I'm
Yeah,
pissed off.
I used to say the same thing about Dry. I think Dry doesn't get like called under or overrated anymore. People would say like, oh, like he only puts up these points because of McDavid, and it's like, yeah, there's inflation, but it also goes the other way. It's like who's passing
Yeah.
McDavid the puck or vice versa.
Yeah, 100%.
McDavid wouldn't have 155 points if Draisaitl doesn't, pot 50 as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think those are kind of tired takes at this point.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Emerson. Well, Stanley Cup Final, again, when this releases, this will be the eve of Game 1. Just give us your final prediction, game by game. Hype up the Oilers fans. Why are you confident going to Stanley Cup Final, getting your revenge, and being the first Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup since the Montreal Canadiens since 1993?
Well, it's going to be a tough series. I think Edmonton 6. That's what I kind of thought. I really don't want this to go to 7. Like I would hope like maybe 3-1, 3-2, and then they win 4-2 kind of thing. That'd be comfortable. But I mean, you can't ask for anything better, man. It's the Stanley Cup Final. You get to watch your team. Like it's going to be a very long few weeks. I'm probably going to be drunk every other day for a little bit. But you got to do what you got to do, I guess. Like it's for the Oilers. I mean, and I don't know. That's just the way she goes, I guess.
Which I know we're, as Leafs fans, we're very superstitious. I know you are as well. Kind of what's your watch party like? Are you keeping the same routine, watching it with your loyal to the Oil fan base? Like what's your status there?
Thank God they haven't lost that much, so I haven't had to switch things up too often. I've been a little free with some of my but no, honestly, after they lost to after they lost Dallas game 1, I threw on the Dry with the finals patch. So that's a jersey of choice right now.
Nice.
Other than that, can't wear a hat. Don't know why, but can't wear a hat. So other than that, I've been watching at my dad's buddy who's an Oiler fan, just watching his backyard. So I'm probably gonna do that every single game.
All right, man. Well, appreciate you.
If they lose, then I gotta switch things up.
All right, man. Appreciate you coming on for a second time. If they win, I guess you're gonna have to come back on. But if they lose, we'll probably never see you again.
If they lose, you get to come back on.
If they lose, I will not be coming back on. You won't be hearing from me for a while. Last year, I deleted my Instagram for a whole year. I'll probably go off the grid. I'll probably go off the grid for a bit.
I won't see you for the rest of the summer. Like you're not helping with my golf game if they lose. Like it's over. Like
delete my number. Don't contact me. So,
all right, Edmonton.
Hopefully this goes well.
All right, Emerson. Thanks for coming on, dude. Loyal to the Oil, baby. All right. So I didn't think his quality and
wasn't as bad as last time.
Wasn't as bad as last time, but we'll definitely have to work something out. Maybe I'll send him like if Edmonton wins, maybe I'll send him a little care package. You know what I mean? He deserves it.
He could use a camera.
He could use a camera. He could use a camera.
I think the sound quality way better. The static air though in the background, I won't lie.
Yeah,
gets to me a little bit.
I know it does.
But you know what? For me, for not hanging out or seeing Emerson for so long, even seeing him yesterday, I love talking to him about sports. It's so fun, especially because he's like so diehard, kind of like the same as we are. I'm not gonna lie, I can't stand talking to some of our buddies about sports. And
like Owen's an idiot.
Yeah, and like even talking to Nick, like I as a person,
Nick's not a ball knower. Like Emerson's a ball knower. He knows. We know ball. Emerson knows ball. Nick, Chris, Owen, they don't know ball. They're not ball knowers like we are, right?
Chris got it so bad yesterday.
Yeah, well, Nick played great. So we're gonna have to book it for some of us, maybe next weekend or another time because I'm dying to see that rematch and I can't wait to see with Nick's new golf game. Hopefully he can kick the shit out of Chris in match play and stroke play. Because I think we're all Team Nick. Honestly, I hate to say it. Chris is a great friend of ours, but we're Team Nick.
Think?
Huh?
You think? Good Lord.
All right.
We were sucking Nick off about his golf game yesterday because we wanted him to beat Chris so bad.
All right, let's break down the conference finals a little bit. Obviously, we kind of jumped to go to Stanley Cup Finals, but Emerson was so generous to give us his time to talk about his favorite team. We're back to Stanley Cup Finals. But let's break down Florida, Carolina. Florida, I almost bet the house on Florida going for the sweep for how Carolina played the first 3 games. But huge win for Carolina. Stankoven was their best player. Anderson had a great game. This is their first win in a conference
had...
final since 2006.
That's fucking insane.
And the guy who scored the game-winning goal in that game was Rod Brind'Amour, their coach, which is fucking hilarious. Yeah, I think we both had Florida in 5.
I think I can't remember, but
no, I think I
said
6. I think he was going to go further.
You said 6, and I said 5, maybe.
Yeah, your predictions have been pretty good.
For not knowing hockey too well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I truly thought Game 5, like Carolina could win that. They're at home, one of the best crowds ever. Huge momentum winning Game 4. Like that call on Tkachuk was pretty tough. It was a brutal embellishment call. I did not think it was an embellishment, but
I didn't really get it either.
He got can open. I mean, I loved it. He got can open, but I was weird they took both. There's been a few embellishment calls this playoffs. Obviously, the Rodriguez getting fucking plastered in the boards.
That was so
clear
funny.
Embellishment, in my opinion.
Obviously. Obviously.
But yeah, then Game 5 back in Carolina, just a classic Florida win where Carolina's all over them, 2-0, and then just Florida just hangs around. They don't give up. They hang around, and they just find a way. They scored 3 goals, and it was like 5 minutes or some shit. It was crazy.
They reminded me of the Leafs Game 3.
Yeah, exactly. They just hang around, dude. Yeah.
Hang around, and then out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Get it.
I would say Carolina did play great, though. I think they showed a lot more fight in Games 4 and 5. And I wrote a note, like, that was the first time I've ever seen Forsling make 2, like, big mistakes that led to a goal. He's usually a Jacob Slavin who just doesn't really make mistakes lead to a goal. He kind of looked off. I don't think he's been too noticeable these playoffs, which is not a bad thing as kind of a more shutdown defenseman, but I'm not really worried about him. You have Seth Jones and Ekblad kind of running the show, and Forsling can kind of do his thing. But yeah, 3rd straight year to the finals for Florida. Just what a fucking run this team has been on.
Dude, Tampa 3 straight years, Florida 3 straight years.
Yeah.
Insane. That just means next year, start of the Leafs.
Yeah, that's basically what it means.
That's all it means.
I want to write this down. I have this huge note that I'm kind of going to go through, just kind of tire pumping Florida a little bit, because even though they kicked our ass, and they do piss me off, like they're a hell of an organization, and all this talk of Florida only good because of the income tax or the state tax or whatever, I think it's bullshit. People think that Florida have
Dallas
only
is the same thing.
It's like
I'll let you get to your note. But
Florida,
Dallas is the same thing. And like to me, I'll kind of give my piece because I had a little piece as well, and then I'll let you go because yours is gonna be a lot longer. But like to me, you have these dynasties of certain teams, and so like, you know, obviously Leafs fans hate Bruin, like Boston, all this shit. You have these dynasties of teams who are amazing for a certain amount of years, and they have a reset or whatever. And it's like for Florida to be able to come out of the early 2000s of just kind of being a stinker, and like they've been good, but to be able to just be as dominant as they are, have a complete change in culture, like I think every guy has said it, it's a locker room you want to be in. And at the end of the day, that's kind of what you need. Like, yeah, you can say that the income tax plays a role, and you can say this, that, and the other, but at the end of the day, it's about the guys in the room. And people keep saying about certain, like Edmonton is probably another room you want to be in. You have McDavid, who's a workhorse who just cares about hockey and wants to win the Stanley Cup, right? And I think people just, you're going to hate when people are great, but you kind of got to give them their flowers at this point. It was the same with Tampa Bay when Tampa went three back-to-back years, right? Like, you kind of got to give them your flowers.
Yeah, anyway. And so, like, this talk of Florida only good because of the state tax or whatever. People forget, like, Florida hasn't been around just for these past 3 years. They joined in the 90s, were one of the worst organizations for almost fucking 30 years, and now they found success because they found the right guys. They established a culture, and again, it's these moves that they've made, and I brought moves in of all their star players that I'm going to break down right now. So Barkov, one of the best of centermans in the league, off his entry-level deal, signed a 6x6. You know what I mean? He did sign an 8-year deal, but he also didn't fuck them over like Matthews and them, signing a 6-year to the max contract. 6x6. After the 6x6, signed an 8x10, well-deserved, great contract, right? Like, he didn't fuck them over. Matthew Tkachuk. They acquired Matthew Tkachuk for Huberdeau, Weegar, Cole Schwitt, and a first-round pick. Huberdeau hasn't cracked 62 points in all 3 years. He went from 120 points to 50 the next year. Uyghur's a solid 40-point defenseman. Schwitt is now on Vegas and has 1 career goal, and their draft pick is this year that they get. And Tkachuk signed an 8-year, $9.5 million. I mean, I chirp Tkachuk, but he's definitely battling an injury, but he's a 100-point player. Like, $9.5 million.
Yeah,
Sam Bennett. They acquired Sam Bennett for a 2nd-round pick and Emil Heineman. And then Sam Bennett signed a 4x4. Like, this is all value, and it's all these trades. Carter Verhaeghe trade, like, you know, he was on the Leafs, picked up from Tampa, went Tampa to Florida. He signed a 2-year, $1 million deal. Then the next year, he signed a 3-year, $4 million deal, had 240 goals while he was making $4 million. Then this offseason, he signed an 8-year deal, but $7 million. Great value, right? And he's tearing it up in the playoffs. Sam Reinhart, they got him for Devin Levi in a 2022 first-round pick. Levi hasn't really found his stride yet in Buffalo, and Noah Ostlund is maybe a promising rookie or prospect for Buffalo. Reinhart signed a 3-year, $6.5 million deal. During that deal, he had a 57-goal season, 10 goals in the playoffs, Stanley Cup. After that, he could have signed probably 8x11 in the offseason with another team. He signed 8x8 and 8.6. Like, we're talking about value. Like, Gustav Forsling last year signed an 8x57 deal. One of the most underrated defensemen in the league, making under $6 million for 8 years. Anton Lindell, 12th overall pick in 2020, been one of the best third-line centers in the league. Puts up around 40-ish, 50 points a year, which is incredible for a third-line center. Easy, maybe could have jumped ship, get more of a role. Signed a 6-year, $5 million deal. That's your third-line center, and he's putting up these points at a great value. Like Mikkola, like I didn't thought Mikkola's come out of nowhere, has been an incredible shutdown defenseman, also scoring goals. 3 years, $2.5 million. This value that they're thinking it's like all like sales tag, all this. No, they find like diamonds in the rough. These guys said they get signed to great deals. They don't bend over for these deals, and they just turn out to be great. And guys want to be there. They're like, hey, we can keep the score together. 8 years, $8 million is pretty good. Like, they don't need to fuck every other team. Sign for 4 or 5 years and sign to the max, like our guys did, right? So they deserve it. They deserve it all. Like, as much as you want to hate them, they deserve it all. And again, they got Marchand for a fucking 2nd-round pick. He has 14 points these playoffs.
yeah,
like, it's crazy.
Considering the year he had, you kind of thought he lost a bit of his stride. But I think just the culture reset, obviously going into Florida too, like, you know, especially during the winter months, playing in Boston or playing in a Toronto, or I'll be frank, kind of sucks. There's not much you can do. You can't really go outside. You play in Florida, you know, even
Sunrise,
after a
baby.
game, you get to go and hang out on the beach, or like it's
And they
it
ride
does a
their
lot to
golf
your
carts to
mental.
practice. It's hilarious.
Exactly.
It's
It does a lot to your
unbelievable.
mental, right? Like, it's unless you have just and this is where I know we talk about the Leafs all the time. At the end of the day, it's part of the name. This is where I think it's tough. Is like the Leafs have to have the absolute best locker room, in my opinion, to have success.
Yeah.
And I think this year, going into the playoffs, all the stuff that kind of happened with Marner and the talks that were going on about how Treliving wanted to get this extension done and all this stuff. Obviously, we talk about it all the time too. There's a lot of noise around the Canadian markets when it comes to media and everything. You have to have a tight-knit group. You go back, like, especially for me as a person who's, you know, I love hockey. I love watching hockey. I've never played hockey organization, like an organized hockey. Like, go back. I went back and watched like a lot of these, like, early 2000s when the Leafs were kind of humming at a good clip and, you know, going deep runs in the playoffs. The locker room is just a million times better. You don't have the worries of, you know, oh, are these guys going to play well? It doesn't even matter. It's like you're always lifting each other up, which I think between these two teams, I think these are the deserved teams to be in the Stanley Cup playoffs or in the finals.
Yeah.
Like, Edmonton's locker room, Edmonton's fucking cold in the winter. Edmonton's fucking freezing in the winter. But you have McDavid, who is a student of the game, loves hockey, is always looking to get better. And like we've said, like, they both have played an immense amount of hockey over the last 2 years. They've both made now, Florida's gone to the Stanley Cup Finals the last 3 years. And Edmonton, this is the second year they're going straight back to the finals. It's a lot of hockey.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like the locker room's a huge thing. The guys in the room are a huge thing. And I think that's what certain teams, especially when you look at these teams that were kind of fringe players, like, or fringe wild card spots, like Ottawa. Ottawa, I think in the next few years could either regress a little bit, but I don't think so. I think they're going to just continue to get better, continue to be wild card players, and maybe even make a little bit more of a deeper run. It's like the locker room's a huge thing and the culture's a huge thing, and obviously, the Leafs fans, including us, pretty critical, but
Yeah.
for a good reason, So yeah, I agree with you. You got to give Florida their flowers for sure.
Yeah, it's from the organization to the players, everything. But I do want to talk about the coaching staff. I love Paul Maurice. He's one of the best bench minds in the NHL. What's your thing? What's your take about him in the handshake line? Because it's kind of weird. But he's also he's been in most. There's so many clips of him with Florida. I think even maybe in this series or this playoffs in the past, like he's in the handshake line. I don't know. I think it was weird.
I don't know.
I disagree.
I thought it was weird. I don't want to say it was disrespectful because I think the place where he's coming from was more out of respect for the game.
Yeah.
I think it was out of respect for the game. He's not on the ice. He's not playing. The handshakes should be between the players. Like, I kind of understand that perspective, but at the same time, like, not 90%, but a lot of these coaches in the NHL, when you're done a series, you've most likely coached other players on other teams.
Yeah.
And it's also like a show of respect. It's like, yeah, Florida dominated Carolina the entire series. You can't say they didn't. It's like Carolina had one good game. They really did.
Yeah.
And I think it's more like if I were Rod Brindamore, I'd be like, hey, what? So confused, like not really fully understand. I just didn't get it. Like it would kind of be like, obviously in the NFL, you don't go and like line up like when you're in high school or college, like university football and shake players' hands. But you go over, you shake the coach's hand, you go up to certain players, you'll shake their hands. You know what I mean? Like it would be like, it would be like, and it's been done before where coaches just go off the field without shaking another coach's hand, which obviously he shook the coach's hand. I just don't get it. It didn't make sense to me. I think in his mind, like I said before, I think it was more of a respect for the game and the fact that the game's between the players and the coaches aren't on the ice, but that it's a mental warfare for coaches. Like you're constantly trying to outthink and outwork that person mentally of like the certain lines you're going to set up, the way that you're going to play these guys. And especially when you get into the later stages of a series, like there's no way at the end of a series, they're not going to go through, like he's not going to go through and shake. I don't even know who the Oilers head coach is. That's tough.
Chris Knobloch.
There you go.
Yeah. I don't know. Again, it's coming from a good place for sure. It's just weird because even last year, and he's he's coached like one of the most games, like the top 10 in like history. Like, is this like the first time he's just changed it though? That's the weird part. If he's been doing this for years, sure, but it's kind of a new thing for him. And I don't know. Yes, the players, they're the ones who really battled out, like really like the physical toughness of everything. But to me, like it's an organization. Everyone's down there. Everyone did their part, right? So everyone should be really shaking hands. But
I did kind of understand what he said when he said he's like the whole organization's down there. There's all these guys in suits and ties and all that stuff, and they're gonna shake all their hands, but they don't play the same role that a head coach does. So I don't really get that. It's like they're not supposed to be down there and shaking players' hands. They're down there to celebrate the fact that the team that they're a part of, who they do play a role in, has now gone and made it to the final for the third year in a row. Yeah, they should be down there, especially playing a role on the team, from trainers to athletic therapists to whoever you want. But to say that, you're just another suit, I don't really agree with. But I also do understand where he's coming from as well. Of like, but like, didn't he shake Berube's hand at the end of the Leafs series?
Yeah, no. So they just hop the bench and he shakes the coach's hand. But usually coaches then go back into the line with the players, but he just doesn't do that. So I don't know. We're kind of beating a dead horse here, but
could be a Kobe thing. Job's not finished.
Sure, we'll call it that. Call it the Kobe thing. Yeah, moving on. We kind of already talked about the Dallas-Edmonton series with Emerson. Dallas has the same kind of thing with Colorado. Like when I said when Colorado got kicked out, they got a lot of decisions to make this offseason. They have a great core, some guys signed, like, Wyatt Johnson, Ottinger, Heiskanen, Rantanen, all that. But they are way over the cap. Like they got to make some moves. Like they were blessed. This was their year to win it because Rantanen, they're only paying Rantanen like a few $1 million because how many times his salary was getting retained. Jamie Benn's a UFA. I can see him just taking, a really cheap deal with Dallas to stay in Dallas, trying to win a cup with that team. He deserves it, but we'll see. Duchesne's UFA, I think a lot of teams, like the Leafs, will definitely be on Matt Duchesne. He can be a great... He'd be an average second-line center, but he would be the Stanley Cup winning third-line center. I think he would be a real great addition to depth. So they got to make some moves. They got to make some decisions. I heard Mason Marchment could be a name as well. So we'll see what they do. I want to talk about Pierre DeBoer, the head coach of Dallas. So Game 5, obviously, Edmonton won the game. Huge win for them. They just dominated from the jump. Under was pulled 2 goals on the first 2 shots of the game. One was a breakaway by, I think it was Matthias Janmark, and the other was Perry just left alone in the slot. I understand that those are 2 goals that maybe he should have, or I know there are also 2 goals that's kind of like, again, left alone in the slot, breakaway, but you kind of need a big save from your franchise goalie. I didn't hate the pulling. I thought it was ballsy by Pierre DeBoer. I was pretty confident, though, after the first period. After the first period, I think it was 3-1. Robertson scored to get some life back into them. I thought for sure going to the second period, Jake Ottinger would get back into the net. I thought that would have been the right move, kind of settle him down. You guys got some momentum now. Put your franchise goalie back in net. But they rode with the Smith, and then when fucking Jeff Skinner scores on you, like his first ever playoff goal, you're fucked. You're cooked.
Yeah.
So
I didn't like it. Ottinger's played unbelievable for the entirety. Well,
Yeah.
not the entirety, but for like the Colorado series, he played gross.
Unbelievable.
Winnipeg,
Godly. Yeah.
It's just it didn't make sense to me. And obviously, I'm not an NHL coach, but from a coach's perspective, you're in a possible elimination game. You want your best guys out there on the ice. This guy's played the entirety of the playoffs. I just didn't get it. And especially going up against Connor McDavid, Draisaitl, Nugent-Hopkins, and say what you want about Corey Perry.
He's just wonder right now, holy shit.
I've always hated Corey Perry. But to come away from what he went through with the whole Chicago thing and everything that kind of...
Hanging Bedard's mom?
Yeah, everything that kind of happened there, and to come away from... I think he was the first player in NHL history to go to the Stanley Cup with 3 different teams over 3 years and lose every single time. Super tough.
This is going to be like his 5th or 6th a final, and he won his first one in 2007, and I hope for that guy. McDavid and Draisaitl, I want to win most badly, but honestly, Corey Perry, to lose that many finals, it's great that he has his one, it's for sure, but that was almost 20 years ago.
And you say what you want about him, but he's a team guy. He's a guy he's a guy who's going to go out there, and if you take a run at McDavid or you take a run at Draisaitl, or even if you take a run at anyone else, he's going to go looking for you afterwards. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it always seems that whatever team he's on, he kind of fits right in. So, but no, yeah, I didn't get not putting Ottinger back in.
But yeah, man, this is a great time for hockey. We got a Stanley Cup Final rematch, Edmonton, Florida. Game 1 will be, recording on a Sunday, but it will be tonight when you guys are listening to this. Game 1 in Alberta. That crowd's going to be fucking ridiculous. And I think I already said it earlier, but for my lock of the week, I just have Edmonton money line. No fancy parlay like I always usually do. It hasn't worked. I'm 3 for 100 for my lock of the week. So I'm just going straight up Edmonton money line, game 1, minus 135. Keep the change. All right.
What's your prediction? I think you said Edmonton in 6?
I got Edmonton in 6. Edmonton in 6. They're playing great. Florida's playing great. This is a different Edmonton team, but frankly, it's a different Florida team.
I was
But
gonna say it's so tough.
yeah,
And
I got
especially
Edmonton
with the way
six.
that Florida's played on the road. Obviously, Edmonton's arena is louder than the Leafs. It's louder than the Hurricanes. But I don't know. It's so tough for me. I want Edmonton to win so bad, but I see it going 7. I see it going 7, and I see it's so tough. But I see it
Say it.
going 7,
Say it.
and I see a McDavid history game in Game 7.
All right.
To me, that would be a cherry on top. And for as
Yeah.
much as I know Emerson doesn't want it to go 7, it would be gross if McDavid just scored fucking a goal a game and they won in 5.
Yeah.
But, McDavid OT winner, Game
Yeah.
7.
He'd be back-to-back Conn Smythe winners. I mean, he's probably the favorite, the Conn Smythe. He'd be the first to win back-to-back since Crosby in 2016-17. I think there's only been a few players who went back-to-back Conn Smythe. I think it's Sidney Crosby in 2016-17, Mario Lemieux in 91, 92, and I think, I forget his name, but a Philly goalie back in the 70s when they won with the Bobby Clark team. Their goalie was ridiculous, and he went back-to-back Conn Smythe. So can't wait. Again, when next episode drops, when we're filming, the series could be over. We always say that, but we'll see. There's some leftover kind of hockey talk. Obviously, the Leafs had their end of the conference, or their Treliving kind of had his end of the year press conference. I like what he said. I think in previous years, it's been like, I'm riding with this core. I'm confident this core can get it done, all this stuff. And he was flat out and said, we are not good enough. Our DNA has to change. I thought I put the pieces together. We do not have the DNA to win a Stanley Cup. And I think that was blunt and very honest. I think that's better than the past years, what they said. He understands that change is going to happen, big changes. I think it's not, I was 90% chance Marner's gone. Now it's up to 99%. I think Marner's gone. And the team I'm hearing, because of course, why the fuck not? I'm here in Vegas. And I think it's more than likely he will go to Vegas. Even though you find a way, it's like, okay, Vegas is at the cap. How the hell are they going to do this? They've done it before. They've, got Stone. They've got Eichel when they're against the cap. They've got Pietrangelo against the cap. They got Thomas Hertl. So they'll find a way. They always have. I'm hearing that Marner is willing to work away like a kind of a sign and trade situation. Because again, only Toronto can offer him 8 years. That's kind of the benefit of the team that you were part of. But if you trade his rights, you can offer them an 8-year contract. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty confident in that because technically before July 1, you are a part of that team. So I'm pretty sure you can offer him an 8-year contract, which is huge for Vegas. So I don't know how much that would cost. I'm sure it's a draft pick and maybe a low mid-level player. It won't cost much because again, you're trading for a year. You're trading for a year of the contract, right? You're trading so they can get that extra year. And I think Elliot Friedman said on 32 Thoughts that before the season, Toronto and Vegas kicked tires on Theodore for Mitch Marner, which I would have loved. I mean, Shea Theodore is an incredibly underrated defenseman. He is a perfect fit for Toronto. I know I keep saying our defense doesn't really need to be touched. I think our defense was the issue. But I'm bringing a guy, a Four Nations Canadian defenseman, a guy who's probably going to make the Olympic team, that would have been huge. But I think Vegas quickly said fuck off on that one, which I don't blame them at all. So I don't blame them because I think Shea Theodore just signed a nice ticket, nice cheap deal for 8 more years, 7 more years, where at that time, there was no certainty that Mitch Marner would want to extend. But now I think he's happy to go to Vegas and sign an 8-year, 7-year deal. So yeah, I'm here in Vegas. I'm here in Anaheim. We'll pay him whatever he wants. Anaheim is definitely an intriguing team. I guess obviously beautiful. You can live in, San Diego area, great area to live in, quieter. They're on the cusp of making the playoffs. They have some great young talent. McTavish, Leo Carlson, Trevor Zegras, Jackson Lacombe, lose their goalie. I forget their goalie's name, but Lucas Dostal. They're a really good team. You're in the Pacific Division with Vancouver, Edmonton, Vegas, LA. I can't see you making the playoffs. I know Marner's really good and can get you 90 to 100 points in the playoffs. I don't know if he'll take him over that hump. But yeah, we'll see. I'm excited for that. What else? Yeah, and final note I have here for hockey is one of my favorite players all time. I loved him growing up. He wasn't a Leaf, but he's just one of my favorite captains of all time, Jonathan Toews. I loved him growing up. Again, Toronto was shit when I was growing up, so Chicago was my second team. And he was just such a cool player. Like, he didn't cheat the game. He maybe didn't get the 100-point seasons, but he was just the perfect captain. I mean, how cool is it when you win the Stanley Cup, 21 years old, captain Conn Smythe winner? Like, that's fucking
crazy.
baller. That's sick. He's apparently 100% committed to the return. I'm here in Winnipeg. I'm here in Toronto. He's from Winnipeg, so it makes sense to kind of sign there. I'm here in Toronto. I won't hate him. I know our depth, we definitely need more depth to win the Stanley Cup. Like, our depth's not close to Florida, Edmonton, these teams. Again, he hasn't played hockey in 2-3 years, so I don't know what he's got. You can't sign him for too much. It's probably going to be a year vet minimum deal like Match Pacioretty, but we'll see. I mean, if you can get 60-75% Jonathan Toews of what he once was, sure, but I'll need to see it to believe it, but that'd be pretty cool, as he was my favorite player growing up.
I agree.
If he did sign, I'll get a jersey instantly, because again, like, I loved him
huge.
growing up. I'd love him.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have any other hockey talk before we kind of quick it over to the NFL here?
I'm so excited to talk about the NFL.
Yeah, you will.
All right. Real quick, what's fucking new? Joey Bosa got injured.
Yeah.
It was funny. I was looking it up as you're kind of going over your Florida, I don't know, dick sucking, we'll call it.
Fair.
It's all right. I did it too. But Chargers fans are, remorsing and kind of happy. At the end of the day, I'd rather you get injured now. I don't think they've kind of really given in-depth details about what it is. And the fact that the timeline is training camp, it's probably just pulled a quad, something like that, battling off an injury that he was fighting from last year. I'm not too worried about it right now. As we get close to the season, it's going to make me worried. Not horribly, scary, but I don't mind it. I was reading an article that was like, Joey Bosa is the player that will get the Bills over the hump, to get to the, good Lord, I was supposed to say in the Cup Finals, to get to the Super Bowl.
Oh boy.
I don't know. I don't know if he's the player. I think considering what the Bills did in the draft this year, the clear focus is defense. So I think that's obviously the huge thing. The thing that pisses me off is that Sean McDermott's a defensive-minded head coach, and if you look at every single playoff loss over the last few years, it is the defense that comes up and fails us. You can say last year was Josh Allen because he did not get the first down or he made a bad throw or whatever. It's not. It's the defense. Our offense, they were the highest averaging point per game offense in the NFL last year, I believe. You can't really say much about the offense. So I don't think Joey Bosa is the single player. And like every single sport, not every single sport, but every team sport, there's no single player that is going to strictly will you over unless you're like a Tom Brady or a Patrick Mahomes. But even then, you look at the teams that they've had, the Chiefs defense, gross. Eagles defense last year, disgusting, plus Saquon. Like, there's multitudes of variables that go into a team winning a Super Bowl or winning a Stanley Cup or winning the World Series, so not too worried about that. Still, I think we're going into the season with James Cook gonna ride out the contract. I don't think they're gonna get an extension done. I'd be really surprised. And I think, to be honest, I just pray to God he has a great year and he gets paid $15 million next year and he's a Bill for life. But he is kind of going into it with a bit of the wherewithal that, you don't have as good of a year as you did last year. You're not playing to the standard of these other backs. You're not getting $15 to $20 million. So I think the Bills pretty well are in good position. Shout out Josh Allen, got married this weekend. Love that for him. It's huge. Gotta love it. I think, Haley Steinfeld, great girl.
Treat our boy nice.
Let's talk about former Buffalo Bill, former Minnesota Viking, former Houston Texan,
Texan.
current New England Patriot,
For
Stephon
now.
Diggs. And I know we've said in the past, and we're going to continue to say, like, players are human beings. This video was wild, and considering the culture shift that New England has had, with Mike Vrabel coming in, it's going to be like a hard locker room. It's going to be a hard team to make. Vrabel has standards. You saw it in Tennessee. Tennessee was really good under Vrabel, especially with Henry. Like, Vrabel is a great coach. I love them as a player. Just a big culture guy. If you've ever watched the Bussin' with the Boys podcast with like Will Compton and Taylor Lewan, when he's on there, it's like I think they asked him a question: would you rather cut your dick off or win a Super Bowl? And he's or would you cut your dick off to win a Super Bowl? And he said yes. So that kind of gives you gives you an idea of the person who he is. And his comments I thought were good, but I think it got the message across of, we're aware of the situation, because the optional voluntary training is happening right now, the OTAs. He is currently not there. And a video
What's he doing? What's he doing?
Of him on a boat, and apparently I have not been in the Stephon Diggs world since the whole thing happened with him leaving the Bills. I could not give a fuck. I really don't care. Cancer to a locker room. But I was pretty high on him when he got traded to the Patriots, or the Patriots picked him up. I was like, look, that's not horrible. Like, I think he'll be good for the Patriots. Good young quarterback. He's going to give you, especially in the red zone, he's a threat. He's a threat in the red zone no matter what. He'll get you, 6-7 touchdowns in the red zone. Probably more, maybe less coming off the injury. I think that's really important. But to see this video where he is on a boat, supposedly Cardi B's boat, apparently they're dating, and he's got 3 women around him, and it's kind of hard to tell what the audio says, but he says, "What's my name?" or something like that, and they keep calling him daddy, and then the one girl starts jumping like a fucking kid on Christmas. Is just wild behavior coming off an ACL tear, going to a team who missed the playoffs last year, who was going through a massive culture reset with a head coach who does not take shit, will
Zero
not
tolerance.
deal with it.
Oh yeah,
will not deal with it. It was just wild.
Handing out bags with pink powder in them. Like, I mean, you can speculate all you want. We don't know what it was, but
apparently it was Pop Rocks. According to Pat McAfee show, it's Pop Rocks.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what those girls in Miami are doing. Pop Rocks.
I don't know. I just don't get it. This is the whole thing that I was kind of thinking, and the guy who I work with, who's like my partner, he's a huge Patriots fan. I give him shit all the time. At the end of the day, him and fucking turn the echo on by accident. Don't worry about it. At the end of the day, Patriots dynasty they won 6 rings. Brady's the best quarterback to ever play the game. There's no disputing it. But you look at what is going on, and you just sit there and you're like, if he still played for the Bills and this was happening, we wouldn't be able to air the podcast about how mad I would be, because this is just ridiculous. I don't know. It's the off-field distractions. They're players. They're human beings. They're allowed to do what they want. Be mindful. Everyone's got a phone. Everyone's got a camera. Everything's going to be posted on the internet. Does it suck? And do I think that everyone should be on high alert 24/7, and that, you're a professional football player and you should be able to just enjoy a day out on a boat? Yes. At the end of the day, if you've got 3 women in front of you and you're supposedly dating Cardi B and they're all jumping up and down calling you daddy, and you're handing out bags of pink powder, it's a bad look. It's a bad look.
He is making Offset look like a fucking saint, which is very hard to do. Very hard to do.
Yeah.
And there's not much more to say on that. I mean, I'm hearing rumors that he easily could be cut, which is hilarious. I don't know if they will. I'm sure Vrabel's pissed and would not mind him getting cut, as this is the exact opposite of kind of what you said, the culture he's trying to bring. And we're pretty high on the Patriots. I think they can go into, I think the Bills are going to run this division for a while. But, I think the Patriots will be second in this division. I do not care about the Dolphins. The Jets can maybe make some moves, but I have the Patriots finishing second in that division. But I don't know. We'll see kind of what unfolds in the next month or so. But I think it's 50-50 if he gets cut or not.
It just depends. Like, that's the whole thing. And again, we're not going to beat a dead horse, but like, you're coming off a tear of your ACL. You haven't played football in a game for a long time. You're missing OTAs with a young quarterback who needs to find his rhythm with you. And yeah, training camp's great, but you know, the more time you spend with him, the better. And if you're Drake May, you know, you've got a 30, he's 32. You've got a older wide receiver who is proven, don't get me wrong, but coming in, and I wouldn't be hyped. I wouldn't be excited.
No. But also, if you're the Patriots, like, you don't have the best receiver room. Like, you got Matt Collins. He's a great receiver. He's obviously not a wide receiver 1. He's maybe a 2 or a 3. And just other than that, I'm looking at the names here. I mean, Javon Baker, no idea. Kendrick Bourne, Kayshawn, I have no idea who these guys are. So,
Kendrick Bourne's think of it. Bad. The young wide receiver they got from Arizona State, I can't remember his name. He should be pretty good. But again, like, it's young guys. Like, that's the whole thing. They need to set the culture and partying on a boat, handing out pop rocks. Not good. And Simpson at week 5 screaming at Drake May.
Yeah. Sorry, you see me turning my head. It's just Scheffler's putting on a fucking clinic right now. So
everyone else sucks.
He's up by 4 right now. Ben Griffin's just giving it away. And Scheffler hit a shot into a bunker that basically was in like a divot, like someone's footprint. Put it to 10 feet, center cup, par. Like, this is a joke right now. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens there.
The NFL, I'm excited for this year, but gotta. Like how Emerson's feeling right now, for real. And obviously the NFL is not as long of a season.
Yeah.
How Emerson feels right now going into the Stanley Cup Finals is literally how I feel before every single Bills game. Horrible.
What are your thoughts on Taylor Joy's rant on Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers when he's not a part of the Steelers organization?
Is that a girl who got suspended from First Take?
I think it was rumored that she had that job because she was sleeping with someone, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, so I'll tread lightly.
Well, just so I'll kind of brief the viewer. So she went on a rant on First Take or whatever program she's on. Taylor Joy. No, sorry, is it Taylor Joy?
I think it's Joy Taylor.
I think you're right. I think I'm fucking that one up. Yeah, Joy Taylor. She was on First Take, and she basically, because obviously Jackson said earlier, the OTAs are on, the voluntary training camp or whatever, and we have no idea what Aaron Rodgers is doing this year. It seems like Steelers is most likely the team if he were not to retire, but he's still unsure. He wants to take his time. He wants to smoke some ayahuasca and figure out what he wants to do. She ripped on him. I'm not a big Aaron Rodgers fan, but I think this was kind of ridiculous. She ripped on Aaron Rodgers for not being at the Steelers' voluntary OTAs when he is not a part of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He has not signed a contract. He has not said anything. There's no pen to paper. Aaron Rodgers is not a Pittsburgh Steeler. And she ripped on him for not being at the OTAs. So there's really not much more to say than her being a fucking idiot. But I don't know if you heard about that or have any thoughts on that.
No.
The NFL's popping off right now.
Dude, okay. The First Take, Keyshawn Johnson, I cannot stand.
He was like your week 1 penalty box.
Yeah. I can't stand him. And obviously they do the thing where they argue for the sake of arguing to get views. And I completely understand that. But at some point, people are going to realize, first of all, that things that like we're doing, obviously our podcast is never going to be as big as ESPN, but there's a million sports podcasts, there's a million sports pundits, there's a million people who would rather sit and talk with their friends than be on an actual radio or an actual network where they have talking points and blah, 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 blah. And this is what you're going to get. I just read an article about how people ripped on her and whatever. And then she was like, oh, thank you, Twitter. I know he's not on the Steelers. This was my point. And it's like, okay, but you understand that millions of people watch your show, that clips get taken out of context. But at the same time, you're ripping on a guy for not being there. Like Terry Bradshaw's comments made way more sense about Aaron Rodgers. Like, stay in California. We don't want you. If you're like, I respect that. But to sit there and kind of just pull strings to be like, oh, Aaron Rodgers wasn't at the Steelers OTAs. It's like, sweetie, come on.
Yeah, I'm not an Aaron Rodgers fan, but also it's like it's ridiculous.
I'm not a huge Aaron Rodgers fan either, but like, it's just these sports pundits are. I just can't stand them. I can't stand them, and it's rightfully so. That's the reason why they get views. A lot of people, I would bet you, more people hate Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless than actually like him. But the reason why they have millions of dollars and the reason why they probably are going to have secured money for their kids is because of who they are as people.
Yeah.
But to go on an actual network that gets broadcasted live on television and come out with a comment like that is asinine.
I agree. Well, the NFL's hot right now. That's a lot of different news coming from the NHL than the NFL right now. But
the NFL is like a crack whore, and the NHL is like your long-term girlfriend, who's like always steady, always been there for you, consistent, 24/7. And then the NFL is like some girl you.
I'm gonna clip that.
Don't clip that.
I'm gonna clip that.
But it's
Jamie,
true.
Can you
it's
pull
like
up the video of Jackson calling the NFL a crack whore?
It's true. It's like every single year, it's just. I think the NHL does a better job, and there's way more. There's like a lot more games, longer season, But like the NFL, these guys play for 18 weeks, and then if you make it to the postseason, like it's just that. It drives me insane because I love the NHL. Don't get me wrong. I love watching hockey. The NFL and even the CFL, huge. To me, there is nothing I love more than being able to sit down on a Sunday and just watch NFL. Doesn't matter what team it is. Doesn't matter what game it is. I will sit down and watch it because I love football. Football is my favorite. But the sideshow part of the NFL is like exhaust. Like I couldn't imagine being a coach or a GM, and you're trying to sit there and you're like, imagine being Robert Kraft, and you're sitting there and you get a call one day and be like, so Mr. Kraft, there's a video going around of Stephon Diggs on a boat handing out pink candy, and 3 girls are calling him daddy, and he's not at OTAs right now. You could be sitting there and you're like,
the guy who just paid $60 million. Like,
fuck.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're ready to move on to a little bit of golf now to wrap it up here. So, again, like I said, keep turning my head because the Memorial is on. Seems like Scotty's running away with it. But before we get into the Memorial, I want 2 things I want to bring up. Quickly, new format for the Tour Championship. There's going to be no more leads given. Yeah, I think Scotty was very happy with it. You give the best player in the world, Scotty Scheffler, I think like a 2-3 shot lead going into the tournament. It's kind of unfair. Obviously, he has 1 Tour Championship and he has other where he actually, I don't say blow his lead, but he kind of has. He has had some times where he's kind of lost it, but I think it's fair. Not a lot of guys get invited to the Tour Championship. It's just play your best, get points, make the Tour Championship, and then start from scratch. I think that's the best way to do it.
I prefer it. Yeah, it makes so much more sense.
And everyone agreed. I think Scotty and everyone agreed that,
these guys starting, because like the number 1 in the world would start at 10 under and then would go down, so on and so forth. And then everyone else would start at even. But it just makes it more exciting for those guys who are like, you sit there, like, imagine going to the Tour Championship on the Thursday and you're like, all right, sick, I start 10 strokes back.
Yeah, from the best player
from Scotty Scheffler,
who never gives up anything.
Yeah,
like, it's just, it's so much better. It's so much better.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so Memorial Tournament, Jack Nicklaus's famous tournament, signature event. So it's not nearly as bad as like NFL drama, obviously, but a little bit of drama. Rory McIlroy kind of backed out somewhat last minute. I think he backed out on like the Monday or Tuesday before the tournament. And obviously, him and Jack have gotten really close. Jack Nicklaus has really mentored him and really helped him get over the hump of the Masters. I think the day before the Masters, they sat down and he basically went through hole by hole, shot by shot, how he needs to play the course. They had a great talk, and he won. He's been a great mentor to him and really helped him out. And he kind of backed out without letting Jack know. I know this is kind of just who gives a shit, but at the same time, I really think, and I think Dan Rappaport had a good article on it. Give the man a phone call. Like I think it would have been a nice thing to do. I understand Rory's at this kind of stage in his life. I mean, he's kind of been in the limelight of media and not giving a shit about the media, and he's kind of the guy I don't really give a fuck anymore, which I totally respect, and we're big Rory fans here, but I don't know what you think, but I definitely think just a quick 5-minute phone call would have been just the right thing to do.
This had me out on Rory a little bit.
Yeah, and it's hard for you to be hard on Rory too. You love Rory more than I do.
It's hard. It's hard for me because, like, I don't know, the way I was raised is if you're not going to make it somewhere, or if you told someone you're going to be somewhere and you're not able to make it, or you can't make it, or say you just don't even want to go, be straight up honest and open with them, and that goes a long way. People respect honesty a lot more than even just a quick phone call. Then, you know, obviously someone might be upset, but to just flat out, like, there's
especially
no
a guy
real...
like Jack Nicklaus, like
Yeah,
a guy who's really mentored you. I don't know if mentor's the right word, but really helped you in like through your dark times, this major drought. I don't think Jack was pissed. I mean, he's fucking 80 years old and he's got so many other things to fucking worry about or he's not give a shit about. But at the same time, he's just like, were you surprised? And he's just like, yeah, I was surprised. I don't think he was mad. I think he was just caught off guard. I think it kind of shocked him that he didn't get a phone call.
No, Rory is scheduled to meet with the media on Wednesday, though. So the RBC Canadian Open coming up. He will be the first time he's going to take media requests or media availability since declining requests 4 consecutive days at the PGA Championship.
I was talking to Emerson about this last night at the bar. He thinks it's another divorce issue. That's what he thinks is going on.
That's what I said yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, I think it was you who said that.
I said it yesterday when we were on the course. I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if it came out next week that something's obviously off. You know, I think not to get too into personal lives, but like you come out last year, you're gonna go get a divorce, and then you're gonna work through things, and I think that's. You know, there's a lot of honor in trying to actually make things work, especially with young children. But I think you travel so much, you're away from home a lot. It's tough, and I wouldn't be surprised. I hope that's not the case.
Yeah.
I love Rory. But you know what? Who knows?
Yeah. All right. You ready to get into this memorial a little bit as it's going on inside of me? Oh, Scheffler's missing eagle putt. But Jackson's finally going to get back on the board. I was 11-6, but I mean, unless Scotty hits 10 balls into the water, I can't see Keegan Bradley, who, hey, I picked Captain Canada. He's top 5 right now, so I'm happy with my picks. JT shot a fucking 80 on day 1, somehow still made the cut. When I looked after day 2, he was below the cut line, but I think the cut line was like last minute adjusted. So
it was +6, yeah. Yeah,
and it adjusted. So you have Scotty, who has a 5-shot lead on Sepp Straka and Ben Griffin. You had Max Homa, who had a great opening day, then between the next 2 days shot 10 over. So that's good for the program. Corey Connors, solid, like nothing crazy. Just, Mr. Consistency. I had Xander, 1 over, 3 under, 2 over. I'm not sure how he's doing today. I don't think he's doing the best. Xander, he is 25th right now. He shot 76 today, so no, he's done. Captain Keegan, he not having the best day today, but he's still top 5. It's a very tough course. People are struggling. He's 1 over today, so top 5 for Keegan, more than likely. In JT, 80 round and then 3 under, 1 under, somehow made the cut, but I think he didn't do too well today. But you took the dub there. I'm now 11-7. Now we got the Canadian Open in Toronto. What's the name of the course?
TPC,
do you know?
Toronto.
TPC, there you go. And I am drafting first. Am I correct?
Yes. Yeah, because I took Scotty.
Ooh, Sky will not be at the Canadian. Has he ever been at the Canadian Open? He hasn't the last few years, I don't think. Well, I am going with the newly single man, the new bachelor, Roy McIlroy.
All right. Well, I'm going to have to take. I might take a whole Canadian team. Give me Corey Connors.
I was gonna pick him next just to piss you off.
Nope.
Give me. Damn, is Fleetwood not in this tournament?
A lot of guys skip it because the U.S. Open's the following week.
Yeah, but Fleetwood, yeah, he's not in. That's surprising. Even though he's not having his best year, you gotta think he's gonna find his groove at one point. I'm gonna go with Alberg.
Yeah, I kind of figured you're gonna take him. You know what? I'll take Shane Lowry.
That was the two I was debating. I'm going to go with I think it was the last, I don't know if it was last year's winner or 2 years ago. I'm going to go with Robert McIntyre.
He won last year. I'm going with 2 years ago, Nick Taylor.
Yeah, there you go. Spelled McIntyre horribly wrong. That's okay, though. All right. And let's wrap up with a little bit of segments here. So my lock of the week, I already said a few times. I got Oilers money line game 1. Gotta just get back to the roots. We're in the doghouse for our bets right now. So I'm going, that's my lock of the week. And Bet the Farm, a little bit simpler as well. Not a lot of good games on right now, but I have Mariners, I have the Mariners money line, Diamondbacks money line, Padres money line, Dodgers money line, Las Vegas Aces money line, LA Sparks money line, and the Minnesota Lynx money line. $5 to win 100. Yeah, well, no offense, there's really nothing else on. So
my lock of the week is Aaron Judge home run, Shohei Ohtani home run. They play tonight. It's $5 to win 60. And I had my Bet the Farm. I already lost, so I'm gonna redo
it. That's towards the record. That counts. You're
all
fucked.
Right, fine, it counts then. I had the Orioles, I had the Phillies, I had the Guardians, the Giants, the Astros, the Tigers, the Nationals, the Mariners, the Padres, and then I had the Dodgers money line with Shohei and Aaron Judge home run. The Philadelphia Phillies fucked me because the Orioles won, the Guardians won, the Giants won, the Astros won, the Tigers won. The Nationals are currently down 3-1, and I don't even know, top of the 6th. The Padres are up. The Marners and Twins are tied at 0-0. But, like, it was looking good. So, yeah, I've already lost. I'm going to make a new one right now live just for fun. I'm just going to bet on the MLB. So I'm going to take the Marners. I'll take the Diamondbacks. I'll take the Padres. And you know what? I will take the Yankees instead of the Dodgers. And then
the Dodgers absolutely clapped the Yankees last night, 18-2.
You convinced me, Archie. I'm taking the Dodgers now instead. And then we're going to go over to the NHL for the first game. And we're going to take the Oilers money line. And we'll take McDavid a point, Draisaitl a point, and shots on goal will go McDavid 2. That's a lock. Bennett 2, Draisaitl 2, Verhaeghe 2. Jesus Christ.
All right. I like it.
It was upsetting that it fucking immediately was not good. So,
all right, wrapping up here. Again, game 1, Stanley Cup Final. Can't wait. We're all in on the Oilers. They need to get it done. I'm confident they'll get it done. Just a little boost of confidence. I already said this earlier on, but I'm kind of just recap it again. 2 of the greatest players of all time, Gretzky and Crosby. In 1993, Gretzky is going to his first Stanley Cup Finals. He didn't touch the trophy in the conference finals. Got killed by the Islanders. 1984, they revisited the Islanders in the Stanley Cup Finals. After the win in the conference finals, he touched the trophy. They won. Fast forwarding to 2008, Crosby won the conference finals, lost the Stanley Cup to Detroit. He didn't touch the trophy. 2009, he touched the trophy, faced Detroit again, and won. And now it's looking like McDavid, the exact same thing. He didn't touch the trophy last year, lost to Florida in the finals. He's going to Florida in the finals again this year, and he touched the trophy. It's destiny. He deserves it. This team deserves it. This country fucking deserves it. Haven't seen a cup since 1993. This is the best chance we got. Let's get it done. Loyal to the oil. Our Leafs are never sniffing a cup for a long time. So let's just get this out of the way, get the cup back to Canada, and we're going to do it in Alberta.
Yes, sir.
All right. Good talking to you, Jackson. Nice little long pod here. And hopefully next time we record, we have a Stanley Cup back in Canada.
Here we go.
Make sure to follow Buds and Pucks on X, TikTok, and Instagram, as well as Buds Mafia on YouTube. Comment, like, subscribe, as well as Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Fakes left, now taking off. Gonna run for it. Got it. There